Alrighty, now we are live. Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the 54th episode of Coaster Time, hosted by me, Carrick from Coaster Hour. And if you've been wondering why I haven't done anything on the channel for about 2 months, I kind of explained in my community post, but just to kind of go it over again. Pretty much, I had a lot of schoolwork ramp up over the last 2 months, in addition to the job I'm doing. Now the semester has just ended, so I will have a lot more time to work on the channel this summer, so that is obviously good. So I am back, and with that being said, for today's episode, this will just kind of be getting back into the streams. We'll be doing some Q&A, some Guess the Coaster, along with a quiz. And during the Q&A, you can ask me about the various news that has happened or various things along with the parks that I have went to. And I guess we can just go right into it. So pretty much we'll just go into the first Q&A session. As you can see from the ticker, I have since the last stream, I went to Gilroy Gardens for the first time as an enthusiast. I also recently did a big NorCal trip with Jace from 808 Coaster Life. You'll see some vlogs coming out over the next month. So because of that, I myself was able to visit Happy Hollow Park and Zoo. And then the two of us visited Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, and California's Grand America. Those three were, of course, revisits, but it was great to go back to those parks, especially for Santa Cruz, because we went for Giant Dipper's 100th anniversary, which was really cool. So if you have any questions related to that, let me know, and we'll go from there. Nice to see you here, Jackson. Yes, had a really nice NorCal trip, so very much appreciate it, and appreciate your tips for Discovery Kingdom. Loose articles were no issue at Discovery Kingdom, so that was definitely really good to see. Something I hadn't appreciated just because I normally don't bring stuff outside of my pockets, but I will say that really all the NorCal parks had bins on all the major rides, it seemed like, so that was definitely good to see. What's going on? I see you in here, Insane Coaster Junkie, along with Stanford Bridge. You're enjoying your evening at the lake near Waldemere. That is nice. Would love to check out that park in the near future. Happy Hollow Park is in San Jose. I basically did it before Jace. I picked up Jace from the airport. So that's the reason it's like in San Jose. They have a E&F Miler credit, Pacific Fruit Express. So that's why I went to check it out. Little pricey. I believe it's $18 admission plus $10 parking. So as far as getting credits go, since you're basically only going there for the one credit, I did check out the zoo, and I did their other like dragon ride because apparently it was like made by Arrow or something. Little like family themed ride. But it's a well kept up park. Not a very large zoo. Actually very much is a very split amusement park and zoo. I thought it'd be more zoo than park, and it was actually pretty evenly split. Very kid oriented, or at least family oriented, but more towards the kids. Very well kept up park. Pacific Fruit Express was a pretty good E&F Miler kiddie coaster. Not the best one I've ever done, but still pretty solid. Had a really nice first drop. And even a little bit of scenery and theming, which was appreciated. I think it's one of the newer E&F Milers, too. I think it opened in, like, 2010, so... yeah, so that's pretty much that park, if you have any questions really going into that, but might as well get that one out of the way. How was my last experience at Discovery Kingdom? I don't want to spoil everything. I want to leave some things for the vlogs. But in terms of this visit, I would say there were definitely some unfortunate moments and just some unfortunate hassles we had to deal with. But overall, it was a successful day. We managed to do all the major credits that were open, which is what we were hoping to do. So that was indeed a success. And we got 2 rides on Joker. So because they didn't have a person in there for assigned seating, we actually got to do back row twice, which is awesome. So in terms of just being able to complete what I wanted, without having to get a like all day fast lane or not fast lane, flash pass. This was a successful visit, so I will say that. But definitely, it still was the park that of the three we went to. Uh, there seemed to be just various issues that came up, and we almost thought of going to Sunday, which we didn't. We ended up going to Great America that Sunday, and I know that the park had a power outage, so that would have been pretty brutal if that happened. But fortunately, like I said, we got all the credits, so and there wasn't too many breakdowns either in the day, so that also was nice. But I'll leave it up to the vlog to go through the other stuff pretty much. And Jason's actually in here in the chat. So yeah, like I said, I am so thankful we were not there on a day with the power outage. I mean, there's not really anything, that's just something that happens. You can't really control it. Because there's been over the years, there's plenty of parks that have had power outages happen here and there. So that's not really on the park's fault or anything like that. It's just kind of, it sucks when that happens for pretty much all involved there. So that's just an unfortunate situation. Let's see, Insane Coaster Junkie question. Or are you asking what my impression of Ravine Flyer 2 is, having not ridden it? I mean, it's a coaster I'm really excited to check out. It's probably in my top 20 bucket list in the US. A lot of people compared it to Mini Voyage. But so like that's like kind of the comparison, which that sounds really good to me. I love just, it looks like it has quite a bit of airtime. It goes into the woods, as it has a really nice setting. The bridge section is really cool. It just looks like a really fun ride. So I definitely want to check it out at some point, for sure. I did do the antique cars at Gilroy Gardens. I thought it was kind of cool. I did both sides. The kind of like sports car and then like the true like antique cars. I did both of them because I heard they were good. And yeah, it was like really nice antique cars. I mean, if you're going to Gilroy Gardens anyways, definitely that would be the first rides to do in the morning because those can get away pretty easily. I think usually that's like the one that gets the longest wait from what I've heard. But yeah, no, I definitely think it's a fun ride to check out. I did enjoy them. Best and worst credits from the trip. So the funny thing is, I actually the only new like for sure like the only credit I got that was like a new one for me was Pacific Fruit Express. But if you're just saying that like all the coasters I rode, including re-rides, I think I can say it. My favorite coaster of the trip was Railblazer. And then my least favorite, if I guess would be I did re-ride Woodstock Express at Great America. It wasn't as bad as I remembered, because the seats are pretty cramped, but it didn't beat me up as bad as it did in like when I last rode in like 5th grade, which was weird, but it still basically does nothing. Dishonorable mention does go to Grizzly, but Woodstock Express would win there. If you don't want to count it and you're just gonna say it's a kiddie coaster, then yeah, Grizzly would win that out. So yeah, like I said, power outages are like very random. You really can't. Yeah, that I heard about Sidewinder Safari too. How like after I don't know if like our visit was like that last day was like open for like the whole day or whatever, but I've heard it's like down for a while. Yeah, that also was pretty fortunate, in that sense as well. I did hear about that. I was like, wait a minute, we just wrote it. What do you mean it's gonna be down for a while? When I saw that report. So yeah, but there seems to be a little bit of stuff like that going on right now. Just if you've heard the rumors about like the Six Flags budget cutting before the merger. So looks like Discovery Kingdom will be getting affected along with several other parks as we've heard recently, but we'll see how that goes. Um, let's see. Yep, Santa Cruz vlog will come out first, just because it's a special occasion. So, um, and then Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Actually, speaking of which, I'm gonna go grab my souvenir from that real quick. So if you went the 100th anniversary for Giant Dipper, you got one of these. It's a let's see if it focuses. Come on, get there. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Got a 100th anniversary Giant Dipper pin. So that was a nice thing, that nice gesture they did for us, for those of us who went. So that's a nice little souvenir. It was a really special day overall. And I think the vlog will capture that very well, for sure. So just wanted to mention that. Buy or sell, Alpengeist starts to reach the end of its service life. It will get the Incredible Hulk treatment. Main reason behind this is because Alpe is closed because the ride is having issues. I don't know if it having issues right now necessarily is meaning anything in terms of it actually being close to the end of its service life, or if that's something related to something else. There was a question. I did do a thing on my Instagram a few weeks ago where it was like, give me a park and I'll give the next coaster that I think will close. And someone put up BGW, and I legitimately looked through their lineup. I'm like, oh my, I can't find anything. And Alpengeist is still pretty popular from what I hear. They did just give Loch Ness Monster a treatment. It's just, would they be willing to give Alpengeist that kind of treatment? Which is a little tricky, but that's so tough. I'm not convinced that whenever that time comes, they would actually put the money into like fully retracking it, because you can basically get a fully new coaster for that money, based on like what I've heard the cost is. Though that I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate, but assuming that is, I'm going to sell it. But I think it's still going to be around for a while. So, yeah. You thought I was going to say Grizzly for worse. I mean, outside of Woodstock Express. So, yeah, we had Fastlane for Great America. We also explained that in the vlog. Reason being is because with the park's uncertain future and Jace visiting for the first and potentially last time, just depending on what happens. Though I'm potentially optimistic that maybe the park's future isn't as dire as it once seemed, just because of the issues that has been going on with getting the land rezoned. The city won't allow it to be rezoned for the purpose that Prologis wanted. But we got Fastlane for that reason. So we didn't really have to wait too long for Psycho Mouse. That being said, it definitely looked like it was going to be a little bit, but it didn't look... I've seen it worse, I'll just say, than when we hit it in the morning. We still did hit it in the morning just because of the capacity, even though we had Fastlane, but... yeah. So many coasters were down when you visited Discovery Kingdom, at least not the top ones. So the ones that were down when we went were the two Vekomas, so Boomerang and Kong were down. That was kind of like whatever. And then Flash was down, which is unfortunate. It's been closed every time I've ever been. And it's like just dismantled. Like the trains are just kind of dismantled. It's like just kind of a storage area right now. I don't know if that's opening this season like at all or not. I really, that one's so unfortunate. I feel like it's getting more, the more and more I go over there and I don't ride it, the more and more it feels like I'm legitimately never going to ride it. So, I would love to, do that eventually, but if I'm able to, like, if it reopens, in the next, I don't know, like 12 months when I still have my, membership, I'll definitely go and ride it at this point. But Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate that that one's just eluded me forever. Um, so let's see. Alpengeist has cracks in the supports. Okay, but that's something that can be fixed. Um, and it sounds like it's getting close to I don't know because it's not actually that old compared to other B&Ms. I think that might be a little overreaction, but then again I don't know where the information's coming from on that front. But I'd be surprised if it was getting that close, but we'll see. You missed out on an SLC twice. Yep. Summer plans. I don't really have anything that's concrete. Well, actually, I like. I'm hoping that maybe by the end of the summer I can do some sort of trip that would get me to 200 credits. There's a few places I have on my mind, but I'm not really gonna say it right now simply because, for one, I don't know if that's gonna happen, and then also there's a few different ideas I'm toying around with. But I'm currently at 184 credits. I do expect that throughout the summer I'm probably going to get a few more credits here and there because I'm going to need to pick up my dad from the airport at some point later this summer. So I'll probably go to the Oakland Zoo because the flights comes in late, so I need something to kill time. So I'll probably go to the Oakland Zoo. They have a credit. I'll probably get that. And then I need to revisit Gilroy Gardens. I have a pass for it, fortunately, because it ended up being cheaper to get that instead of getting a ticket plus parking. And Quicksilver Express was actually closed on my visit. I was unaware that it was. It didn't show up on the website. That's probably something I should have called or emailed about. But anyways, I will have to go back and get on that as well. So, I mean, Oakland Zoo and Gilroy Gardens are almost like a lock to happen. And then we'll kind of see from there what happens. But like I said, I would like to try to get to 200 credits by the end of the summer if possible. But yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with Psycho Mouse. It doesn't look that long, but it does. It's miserably slow. But like I said, I had seen it worse, at least in terms of length, than it was when we went. But granted, we did hit it in the morning, so that's probably why. Um, let's see. So the Six Flags stuff, there's a lot of changes going on with the reduced hours and stuff. There's various reasons for it. Like I understand that I imagine staffing's still an issue. But a lot of that I've heard is probably just stuff that's related to the merger that's coming up. There's been supposedly just a lot of if you've seen the talk on Twitter and whatnot, obviously unofficial stuff, and perhaps some is speculation, but a lot of this is just stuff that's happening because the merger's coming up, and there's like some executives and higher level people that are getting severance packages and things like that, so they have to take money from other things and put it towards that while the merger's happening. And that's my understanding of why a lot of this stuff is happening with the Six Flags parks. So I'm not really going to say anything like that. The negative earnings is going to be too involved with that, if that makes sense. That seems to be a lot of this stuff that seems to be going on seems to be related to like just pre-merger things. Sounds like Kong is reopening this weekend. Oh wow, that's something. I don't think Jace is too upset that he missed out on that, but good to hear that they'll have another coaster up and operating, especially if Sidewinder Safari is going to be down for a bit. That is very good timing. So That is good. Buy or sell X2 will actually stay open this summer and you'll get the credit. They did do a significant amount of work on it. It was like closed over the course of I think like a few months. So I'm going to be optimistic and say it'll stay opening and I will buy it. Because selling it would be mean, and there is reason to believe it will actually be open since they worked on it. So I will buy it for that reason. Yeah, it sucked that I missed out on Quicksilver Express. That was like the fortunate part of, well, at least I have a season pass. I'll be passing through the area at some point later this year. Actually, probably a few times. So it's kind of like it's not the end of the world. I can just go and get out, get the credit. Because I did explore the park otherwise, and Frontier Coasters does ask a question relating to it. Did I check out the actual gardens themselves at Gilroy Gardens? Yes, I did. I walked through all the gardens sections that I could. Definitely, I think the coolest one, or there were a few that were really neat, but the indoor greenhouse was really cool. It was unfortunate the monorail also wasn't open. There actually was a decent bit of closed rides the day I went, and I went on like on like Easter Day. I was there because I had to drop Dad off at the airport. But yeah, there was the Mushroom Swing, although that's like a long-term thing that's down. The monorail was down for long-term, and that's also just not usually open. But also Quicksilver Express and Banana Boat were also down, so that was just kind of like a lot of their big hitters were down, which is unfortunate. But no, I did walk through the gardens. They were very nice for sure. Definitely one of the prettier looking parks you're ever gonna find, for sure. As far as like theme parks, so it is cool in that sense. I don't know that I would. The only thing is like if you're a true coaster enthusiast just going for the credits, honestly, I mean, unless you really want the Morgan Mine Train that badly, and make sure to check that it's open if you do. It's a little bit. I mean, it's about $85 to go basically, which is quite a bit. So I would just say that that's definitely something to look at if you're considering going. Is that it is pretty expensive for what you're getting, and even if you like walk around the gardens, check out the other attractions, which I would definitely recommend doing. It's still that's a lot for that park. So I will say that. My dad's in the chat. Hello. Let's see. There are some really cute. Yes, Gilroy Gardens. I had been like when I was a lot younger. But and there's even a picture of me. I rode like the little goldfish flat ride thing. Like there's a picture of me riding that when I was a little kid. So I had been there previously, but I didn't really remember much of it. But like, yeah, the garlic twist, the banana boat looks cool. It just wasn't operational. They have the rainbow boat ride, which I did ride. That was cool. And they have like the artichoke ride. They have this like little strawberry swing, mushroom swing. It's a very well done park in terms of the agricultural theming and fruit and vegetable theming. So yeah. Can't remember. Have you been to Disney World? I have not yet. And I expect hopefully I'll be able to do that in the next few years is the plan. Ideally as soon as next year, but we'll see how that goes. That definitely depends on other things that happen. But best of luck going there for the first time. I hope you have a great time there. A little unfortunate. I don't know what time you're going, but I imagine that it's possible that Test Track will be closed for its refurbishment. And I know Rock and Roller Coaster has been down for a bit. I think it's supposed to reopen sometime this summer. I don't remember the exact month, so you probably want to check on that just to see if you are going to be able to ride it or not. But I know that those two could be ones that, depending on when you go, you may miss. but still will be a fantastic time overall. Tiana's will just have open for you. Well, that definitely makes up if one of those is down. So, yeah. So, just wanted to mention that. But I mean, otherwise, it should be an awesome time. Hope you have a great visit. Yeah, my dad's in Malaysia. He went over there a few months ago at this point. Buy or sell within the next 5 to 15 years. Six Flags Great. Great America or Great Adventure? I think you're saying Great Adventure, right? Let me just make sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Skyride at Six Flags Great Adventure. I was about to say, I'm like, I don't know that Great America has one. So, okay. We'll shut down the Skyride because while they probably have spare parts from the Over Georgia one, it's definitely limited. In the next 5 to 15, yeah, I'll buy it just because it's a long period of time and it's a really rare ride. And I definitely think that's something that would probably bite dust, so I'll easily buy that. Yeah, so there we go. Alrighty, that'll be it for our first Q&A session. We will have 2 more, but we'll get on to our next thing, which will be our quiz. So, and then I need to get my phone out so that way I have the timer on me. But anyways, yeah, let's bring it up here. So this is the quiz, and we'll see how you all do. This one I thought was pretty tricky, but we'll see how you all do. So we'll start in a little bit. Obviously, none of these. Don't use RCDB, Google, or ChatGPT. With that being said, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty, so here is the first question. Which of these roller coasters is less than 100 years old? I mean, if you watch the Q&A session, that you definitely know that you'll definitely be able to cross at least one of these off. But, yeah. Alrighty. So a few answers are coming in. Welcome to the stream, James. Good to see you here. Alrighty, and if you haven't answered yet, you have about 10 seconds to answer. And with that being said, the time has officially ran out. And the correct answer is D, Wildcat at Lake Compounce. Giant Dipper just turned 100, as I was saying earlier. I just went to the 100th anniversary. Although I know that James was not in the stream probably at that point, so understandable miss that. And it's so recent too. But the correct answer is Wildcat at Lake Compounce, which just recently reopened with its new Gravity Group track, which I've heard much better reviews about it. Though it seems like there's still some work that needs to be done there. So with that being said, let's put it on the scoreboard. So Frontier Coasters is on the board, along with 808 Coaster Life, Jackson is on the board, along with my dad is also on the board. And we'll move on to our next question, which is, which of these parks is the newest? As in, which one of these opened most recently? Timer starts now. Also, if you know, this picture is a hint. If you know the year this park opened, the one in the picture, it's the same year as the park that's the answer to this question. Don't know if that helps a whole lot, but I did throw it in there just in case somehow that clicks for anybody. But probably not, realistically. Alrighty, about 20 seconds left, so make sure to get in your answers. About 10 seconds left now. And the time is up. The correct answer here is A, Six Flags Great America. So only Stamford Bridge got that one right. So Stamford Bridge is on the board. Just realized y'all are lucky that Mr. Cola Roaster is not in the chat. So I will just say that. Next, we'll move on to number 3. Which one of these roller coasters listed is the tallest? And I have started the timer, so you can start putting in your answers now. The picture is just King Decad. It's not really a hint towards anything, so it's just currently the world's tallest coaster. Emphasis on the currently. But yeah, already about 30 seconds left on the clock. So if you haven't put in your answers yet, which this one appears to be a tricky one, which I am not surprised that it is. Wow, all of a sudden I got a bunch of answers and a lot of people are going for one specific one out of random. So we'll see if that pays off. And at this point we have about 5 seconds left. So if you haven't answered yet, make sure to. I just realized I hadn't changed the banner yet. There's the quiz banner. Timer has run out. The correct answer is indeed C, Thunderhead at Dollywood. It's the only one of these coasters that is over 100 feet tall. So I believe Thunder Run would be your second tallest at around 90-ish feet tall. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I made sure to look at it when I picked these. Raven would be your third tallest, and West Coast Racers would be by far your shortest. It's only around like 60 feet tall. So that's the correct answer there. Let's see who got that one. Jackson got it. So Jackson now has 2 points. James is on the board now with a point. 808 Coaster Life got it. Now has 2 points. And then Frontier Coasters got it, so 2 points there. Alrighty. Next, we'll move on to our next one, which is, which of these roller coasters was relocated and is still operating? So that is the question. Which of these roller coasters listed here was relocated and is still operating at another park? That is the question. Like I said, this one I figured would be a bit tricky. And I did make this one myself this time around. I kind of decided to do the stream on such a short turnaround, so Frontier Coasters, that's why I didn't ask you to do it. I kind of decided to do it pretty quickly, so I decided to make the quiz myself. Alrighty. Already have 2 answers in, and there's only about 20 seconds left, so make sure to put in your answers if you haven't already. About 10 seconds left now. Everyone's going with the same answer. We'll see if that pays off. Timer has run out, and yeah, y'all were right. It is Two-Face the Flip Side at Six Flags America, which now operates as Diabolic in Italy. So I believe at Movieland Park, yes, that is where it's currently located. So yep, everyone got that right. I don't know if that was luck or y'all knew, but that's actually pretty impressive. So that'll give Frontier Coasters another point, so up to 3, as is 808 Coaster Life. And so is Jackson. James now has a second point. Dad has a second point, and so does Stamford Bridge. Alrighty. We'll move on to the next question, which is, Which of these roller coasters opened in 2009? The coaster here pictured is your Golden Ticket Award winner for Best New Coaster or Best New Ride of 2009. But which one of these other coasters also opened in 2009? And at this point, I started the timer. I should have mentioned it if I hadn't, but it is now at 35 seconds. So make sure to put in your answer if you haven't already. Wow, everyone's putting in the same answer again. We'll see if that pays off. But if you haven't put in your answer yet, you have about 15 seconds to do so. And then we will move on to the next question. So, looks like we're going to be in for a tight finish on this one. At least if things seem to hold up the way they have been. Alrighty, so time is out. So the correct answer is indeed C, El Toro at Freysight Park Plone. This is of course the GCI, so the smaller GCI, not obviously the one at Great Adventure, so that is the correct answer. So congratulations to all of you for getting that one right. Jackson gets his 4th point, along with, and then my dad gets a 3rd point. James also gets a 3rd point. 808 Coaster Life gets a 4th. Frontier Coasters also gets a 4th. And Stamford Bridge has their 3rd point. Alrighty. We'll move on to our next question, which is true or false? Fire in the Hole was Silver Dollar City's first defunct coaster. And of course, we're talking about the OG one, not the new RMC one. But true or false? Lucky for you, you were thinking of the big one. You would have been wrong. It didn't open that year, but whatever works. Alrighty. Out the gate, we have same answers again. About 25 seconds left if you haven't answered yet. Now make that 20 seconds. Alrighty, and the timer is out. So the correct answer here is false. They had a Molina and Sons kiddie coaster that was actually their first defunct coaster. I believe it was called Runaway Orcart. Yes, it was. Operated from around 1999, because it's not even certain, to 2004. That was their first ever defunct coaster. So good job on everybody for getting that one. Stamford Bridge has a 4th point. Frontier Coasters has a 5th. 808 Coaster Life also has a 5th. Dad has a 4th point. James also has a 4th point. And Jackson has a 5th. So pretty tight heading into what is, I believe, question number 8. So, which of these coasters that were RMC'd or eventually RMC'd closed first? Guess away. And the timer has begun as well. Or I should say the 7th question is where we're at, not the 8th. But yeah, which of these coasters that were RMC'd eventually closed first? And wow, alrighty, once again, everyone's going for the same answer. I mean, I guess whether you're right or wrong, it doesn't hurt you at this point if everyone does the same. But we have about 15 seconds left for anyone who hasn't answered yet. About 15 seconds. Now 10 seconds. And of course, the coaster in the picture, if you could not recognize, is Wildcat at Hershey Park. Obviously, not an answer here. But the timer has run out. The correct answer is indeed B, Twisted Twins. It actually last operated in 2007, even though it was like, it was definitely not even one of the first, like, few coasters to be RMC'd, because the coaster just closed so long ago in 2007. It was the first to close. So I thought I would get people with that one, but apparently not. Alrighty, so Frontier Coasters has their 6th point. Stamford Bridge is at 5. James is also at 5. 808 Coaster Life is at 6. Dad is at 5. And then Jackson is at 6. Yeah, it was SVNO for a while. But it last operated in 2007. So, yeah. Only one you had not heard of. I mean, yeah, because the other ones are all in the new name. Twisted Twins is not. So, that is also... I didn't realize that until now. But, yep, that would also be that. Alrighty, we'll move on to the real question number 8. And that is, where Deep Space, which is the premier indoor launch coaster, is located in which country? I have started the timer, started a few seconds late. But yeah, Deep Space, the premier rides indoor launch coaster, is located in which country? And now if you haven't answered yet, you have about 40 seconds left. So make sure to get your answers in. Alrighty. Same and it's the logic of you can't, I guess, lose at this point if you're in the lead. Like, whether everyone's right or wrong, you're in a good spot, so I understand the logic. Alrighty, time is up. James got it right on the buzzer, so that is good. So the correct answer here is A. India is the correct answer. So Jackson got a point there, which will be his 7th. Frontier Coasters also has a 7th point. Stamford Bridge has a 6th point. Dad has also a 6th point, as does James. Sorry, Jace, your gamble did not pay off there. Alrighty, question number 9. Which of these parks has never removed a coaster in their park history? And the park in the picture would be an example of a park that has never removed a coaster in their history. That would be SeaWorld Orlando. But yeah, I started the timer already. We're actually already at 40 seconds. So, yeah, this one's a tricky one, it appears, but we'll see. A lot of people going for the same answer again, so, and we are about 15 seconds away, so make sure to get in your answers if you haven't already. Alrighty, and the timer has run out. So the correct answer here is B, Heidi Park is the correct answer. They have never removed a coaster. Far Up Summerland has removed a few. I believe it's only 2 of them. Park Asterix has removed at least 1. Yes, they removed a family coaster, Zero Tivoli, back in the day. Farup Summerland has removed 2 coasters, a powered coaster, actually 2 powered coasters, so there you go. And then Six Flags Darien Lake has actually only ever removed officially 1 coaster. There was a coaster they had in storage for a while that doesn't really count. But they had a Schwarzkopf Jetstar that was indoors that they closed. So Heidi Park is the correct answer. But yeah, so Frontier Coasters now has 8 points, as does Jackson. Alrighty, so next we'll move on to our last question of the regular questions, and this one is, which of these is the fastest roller coaster listed? Timer has begun. We're already at 55 seconds, so there you go. Yep. It was, yes, Nightmare in Crack Axle Canyon. It was actually called Nightmare at Phantom Cave at Darien Lake, but when it was at Great Escape, that was its name, so that is correct. Alrighty, only about 20 seconds left for this question. So make sure to get in your answers if you haven't already. Only 10 seconds left now, so better get it in. Alrighty, and the timer has run out. The correct answer is A, Shivering Timbers at Michigan's Adventure. So that gives 808 Coaster Life a 7th point. Stanford Bridge also a 7th point. Jackson gets a 9th point. No, my bad. Stanford Bridge got B, so my bad on that. Yeah, I just saw. And then Frontier Coasters also gets a 9th point. So Jackson and Frontier Coasters are tied. So everyone can do the tiebreaker questions, but in terms of answering them. But between Jackson and Frontier Coasters, this next tiebreaker, so how it's going to work, we have 2 tiebreaker questions coming up, and I've tried to kind of figure out some rules for these. So for this first one, it's pretty much just goes if whoever, it's just like if both of you get it right, we'll move on to the last tiebreaker. This is not what, but if we move on to the tiebreaker after this, the one who guesses it right first will win. And if for whatever reason nobody guesses it right on the second one, then it'll go to whoever guessed it right on this first one, assuming that someone did. So there we go. But anyways, we'll go into our first tiebreaker question. Which of these IPs has never been featured on a roller coaster? So which of these IPs listed has never officially been featured on a roller coaster? That is the question. Timer has already begun. So there you go. Yeah, you all can guess. You are allowed to guess. It just anyone can guess this question. Like it's for fun, but it's between in terms of Jackson and Frontier Coasters will be the ones guessing in order to get the win, is what I meant. But yes, anyone can guess for this. Alrighty, so everyone is going with C. And the timer has run out. You are all right. Correct answer is C, Teletubbies. Honestly, to my surprise, Sometimes I have to like look up coasters, just like IPs, just to be like, have they ever had one? But yeah, Teletubbies. There's never been a roller coaster themed to Teletubbies. There has been a coaster themed to Jimmy Neutron. There has been a coaster themed to Green Hornet, and Crush's coaster would be your Finding Nemo coaster. So, yeah, should build a Strata themed to Teletubbies. Okay, so basically, what's gonna happen from here is that Jackson and Frontier coasters. It'll basically go if you both guess the correct answer on the next one. It'll be go off of who got it first. And if for some reason both of you get it wrong, Jackson will win. If you both get it wrong because he answered first here. Obviously, if just one of you gets the answer right, then that'll decide who wins the next one. That was probably more complicated than I needed to make it, but that's how it's gonna work. So final tiebreaker question. Once again, you all can participate, but this is for the win. Which of these coasters opened in the same year that Incredibles or The Incredibles released? Used same template basically as some of the previous quizzes, just with some different answers and different like things. So. Okay, well, we have different answers. So, but I'll let anyone who wants to guess can go for it. We have about 30 seconds left. So anyone who wants to guess can go for it. About 10 seconds left, and the timer has officially run out. Alrighty, so the correct answer here is D, Storm Runner, which Jackson got correct. So Jackson is the winner of the of our quiz for this episode. So there we go. So we'll put that in. But yeah, congratulations on that. Good game with everybody. All of you did quite well, actually. Especially some of the questions I thought were going to be really difficult. I know some of it was guessing and like kind of going with the same answer, but someone had to know what it was. So that's still pretty impressive. So yeah, good work. Alrighty, with that being said, we're going to move on to our next Q&A session. Once again, I have the parks that I went to, but also if you want to ask about different news things that have happened, along with that, I know I have this on the ticker, but like you can ask about anything, doesn't necessarily have to be about the trips that I just did. Ask away, and then we'll do guess the coaster, and then that'll lead us into our final buy or sell and Q&A. And then also, yeah, I should mention, I mean, I've seen a few buy or sells, but you can also do buy or sell here if you want. So yeah, that's what the plan is. Is Jackson named after Six Flags Great Adventure City? That's funny. For the next quiz, do you want the standard format of 10 questions or extend it to 15? I think 10's fine, especially because like, although I guess I don't usually do them with guests at this point. Usually I just do it if it's by myself. So actually we'll talk about that. Maybe we could make it, although I feel like we oftentimes actually hit the tiebreakers and they matter. So I feel like that kind of negates it. So I think 10's fine because we already have to put in like at least 2 tiebreakers. So yeah, I think that's gonna be the one where we're gonna go with. We're gonna stick probably with 10 there. Most brutal family coaster of the trip. It wasn't bad brutal, but the one ride we got on now Sea Serpent was also insane, but that's more of a kiddie coaster, I guess. At Santa Cruz, lived up to the hype as always. But Cobra, it was still good, but we were in the back row, and that first drop, the seats are not like very well padded at all. I had never ridden it in the back. It didn't really give much airtime, but it gave a very powerful jolt of laterals. It's kind of, and I had my hands up, so I smacked my ribs right against the hard seat. So that would make it the most brutal family coaster, but I still liked it. It was just I was not properly prepared for the moment, so I still appreciated that it actually had that moment. It didn't really do hardly anything afterwards, but I guess that was brutal in a good way. Do I think Six Flags Discovery Kingdom will benefit from California's Great America's closure? No. I don't see how or why it would. Because competition breeds excellence and is more of a good thing for these parks. So not having that is, I think, a worse thing for Discovery Kingdom. Because they can get away with investing into it less in terms of new rides, just because there's not really anything else in the area that can truly compete with it. So I would see it as a bad thing in that example. Let's see. Buy or sell. Grizzly is not a bad coaster. It's just a dull coaster. I mean, no, I still think, like, is it horrifically rough? No. Is it, like, I kind of understand why people say it's not bad, but, like, the fact that it's as large as it is uses the amount of resources it does, I guess. Or, like, that it was just, it's a decent-sized coaster. It's not even, like, it has a 48-inch height requirement, so it can't even be, like, a true family, like, coaster. Like a bridge coaster like it should be. And it like literally does nothing except for like one turn that actually has like that has like decent like okay laterals. No, it still is bad, I would say. Even though like it's not, if you're asking if it's like not horrifically rough, it's not. It definitely is shaky or jittery. But I would still say it's a bad coaster. It's my lowest ranked wooden coaster, and it's not particularly close. Even over rides that were like really rough and pretty hard to enjoy, but at least they had like a few good moments, because Grizzly just has nothing almost. Let's see. Genting Highlands, almost nothing was running in the outdoor park. Remember you told me about some big projects being revived. Yeah, I don't like, it's a park that I'm kind of following, but I mean, there's just been a lot of stuff going on. Like, it sucks that they're two big rides with the SFX coaster and the dual powered coaster are facing extremely uncertain futures. So, they do have several dark rides, I'm pretty sure. And I think several like indoor rides, even in like the outdoor park, because I know you went to the indoor one as well. That's more just kind of a small like FEC type thing. But in terms of like thrill rides and stuff, they don't have much. Like, they have some flat rides, but I think the only coasters they have an Ice Age like family coaster that has theming. What else do they have? Oh, and they have a family suspended coaster. So yeah, right now as far as roller coasters go, they really only have family coasters. So it's just kind of in a tough state right now. For sure. Playland Fresno is open. So it is still alive for now, unless something happened to it since I last checked. But I'm pretty sure I would have heard about it if it closed again. I know it may still be slated to eventually close this year, but it hasn't been like really clear what's going on. I just got like an extra like 6 months or whatever, so we'll kind of see what happens. That park just doesn't truly die though. So if it did somehow go into a situation, I feel like some way somehow would find some way to live. Just because it's like supposedly like been on the brink of closing or permanently closing several times and it just doesn't. So yeah. Let's see what else. Uh, they could all go to Santa Cruz. I wish, but Santa Cruz doesn't get the same crowd, and people don't necessarily go to it for the same reasons that Discovery Kingdom. A lot of people go there because they're visiting the beach and they want to ride some rides. So that's kind of a very different thing. That in Discovery Kingdom, I'm pretty sure is like almost 2 hours away from Santa Cruz. So there's a lot of people in like the San Francisco and like Oakland area that's going to be way more convenient. So I don't really see Santa Cruz as like a true competing park in that sense. Let's see. Flight Deck was pretty good. Got better rides on it than I did in my 2019 visit. Still probably one of my lower ranked inverts I've personally done. It's not like bad. It's just, it's pretty short. Um, but and I think as far as like the really like kind of compact or at least like smaller and powerful inverts go, I definitely prefer the Batman the Ride clones, I would say, in terms of the layout. Even though this one, of course, has a unique layout, but I still really liked it. It's a very enjoyable ride. Zero G roll is great on it, as is the corkscrew, and the helix over the lake's awesome. So I do think it has some really nice moments for sure. Let's see. Buy or sell. Within the next few years, America will get the first new gen Vekoma flying coaster. The first one already got built with Fly, but if you're saying like the next one, I don't think so. Just because I feel like that's something that, just considering what it's like, I think a European park would be a little more drawn to it and more interested in getting another one of those. Maybe even an Asian park goes and gets it. I think those are more likely than an American park getting it. So I would sell for that reason. But I would love to be wrong. Let's see. Diggin Barnes, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you here. Buy or sell, Kennywood gets a Starflyer in the near future. Do they have any observation rides in general? Although, I mean, that wouldn't matter because it's more of a thrill ride, right? I don't know if I don't think lake compounds or any, like if there's palace rides or palace parks that have do they have a record of getting those types of rides? I'm probably going to say sell just because I don't really see much reason why they would. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it wouldn't be like a nice addition for sure, but I think they will have other things going on. And I feel like as far as like non-coaster thrill rides go, they would probably go a different route than a Starflyer, but would be cool if they got one for sure. Then again, I've never been to Kennywood. I'm not as familiar with their like non-coaster ride lineup. So I could be wrong there. Maybe that is in the cards, but we'll see. Let's see. Sharpest memory of Flight Deck was when it swoops over the water. Yeah, it's a really nice moment. I do really enjoy that. That definitely, like when I was younger, that stuck out to me, and it still does. So, yeah, that is definitely really cool. Really cool, for sure. I mean, any invert that goes over waters, I mean, that's always pretty cool. So, Let's see. Did we ride Berserker at CGA? Unfortunately, it was closed. So I would say unfortunately, yeah, we actually did want to do it, but I didn't necessarily. I think I did see that it hadn't been operating on the ride logs, but I was hoping that maybe it would be open, but it was down. We did hear they were doing repairs on it, like you could audibly hear it. But yeah, it was closed, unfortunately, which is unfortunate. Never ridden that, so that was, or even a Bayern curve of any sort. So that would have been cool to do, but hopefully I'll be able to ride another one, or maybe that one in the future at some point. Best ride at Kenting is the gondola presently. Yeah, that would be. It seems like it's already pretty far, and I can imagine that, like, yeah, the clouds and stuff would block the view. Um, let's see. Buy or sell. More parks will contact Premier to preserve other historic rides. Um, let's see. I know they did Kangaroo. I've heard mixed reviews in terms of how reliable it's been since that's happened. So, and they do have like their stuff on the portfolio. So let me pull that up here just to kind of get an idea, because they have put that stuff in their, like, I think products page or something like that. Let's see. Or at least I thought I remembered seeing that they had like a portfolio or something. That kind of listed all the stuff they had done. Or is it just all the services they provide? Um, because I don't know how involved they are. They have been with non-coasters. I know they have done stuff, but I would like a list, and I don't really see it. So it's kind of hard for me to make a guess based on that. But we'll say bye. I know that's something that I think they had been advertising that they do that more. So we'll say that hopefully that works out for them. Best flat ride of the trip. Haven't really thought about that one too much. Depends what can be considered a flat. I think like true traditional flat ride would probably would have to go with Typhoon. The hang time on that is just absurd. So even though I mean already wrote it, but I mean I think every flat that we did at Santa Cruz, because I have done a Rocco plane somewhere else. I did not ride it, but Jace did. So I can't really speak on that one. But probably would go with Typhoon. If drop towers are included, maybe drop tower at CGA. It'd probably be a close battle between them two. And then Wipeout was pretty cool too. Hadn't done that in a while, but it's an indoor breakdance at Santa Cruz. I'd say definitely worth checking out if you're there. Not the longest cycle, but it's a lot of fun. So I will give that one a shout out as well. Buy or sell. Disney will announce a new park in Europe within the next 15 years. No, I'm going to sell that. I don't really think they're looking at if they're looking at creating a new park anywhere, it would be probably an additional one in Florida. And even then we'll see. I don't see them doing another new park in Europe. I just think that'd be pretty unlikely. What trip are they talking about? So, oh yeah, so earlier, I mentioned on the community post, but me and Jace just did this NorCal trip. So I revisited Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, Six Flags Discovery Kingdom and California's Great America, but Jace went for the first time. And that was like a whole trip that we just did recently. So that's the one that they're referring to. Rocket Plane was awesome. Yep, I skipped out on it. I tried it. If you all saw the vlog at Oaks Park, I tried it previously. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Although maybe doing it in a vehicle by myself would have made it a little better, because I guess I would just have like pretty much full control. But I was, I mean, I still think it's a really cool ride. I definitely hope that parks that have them keep them around, just because they're so rare, but just not my type of attraction. But Jace obviously loved it, which was awesome, and it was cool that he was able to experience it, because there's not a lot of them around. Living in California, am I excited about Mattel Adventure Park? Yeah, I don't know when I'll get to it, because yes, I live in California, and like theoretically, Phoenix is not a long flight away. But that it's just a situation of like pretty much I'd be just going for that, so, and that would still be a decent bit of money, but I do want to check it out eventually. Especially like, I mean, if the reviews are really good for the Hot Wheels Twin Mill Racer, then that'll definitely encourage me more to go. And I'm planning to get to Lagoon anytime soon. It's on the radar as far as places I could maybe go to this summer. Just the big real thing with it is that the cost of admission is crazy. Especially because they don't have like any 2-year, not 2-year, 2-day deals, really, at all. And the season pass doesn't really make it any better. It like pays for itself if you go 3 times, but because ideally, I think that is a park that I would just, with a few different things, I would like to have 2 days there, but it's a lot. Like, I think it would cost like over $200 just on ticket admission alone, which is like crazy. So that definitely is something that does kind of, that is one thing that it's kind of like makes that park a little tricky, is just like, I don't love that. But it is theoretically not too far away, so maybe we'll see. I would definitely like to get to it at some point. I just don't know if it'll be like anytime that soon. But it, like I said, it's on the radar for sure. Just because, like, yeah, it is relatively close. Will I ride the last ever flyoplane at the Wind? And I don't even know where that venue is. The Wind and Stone Venue and Fun Park is in Oklahoma. Where in Oklahoma is it? Makes sense that you bring it up. Let's see. It's somewhere in Oklahoma. It's, wow, a decent bit away from everything too. Like, yeah, it is. I guess the closest major city is Oklahoma City. Yeah, I guess so. But it still looks like it's pretty far away. Just off the bat, right off the bat, I don't think so. And I would need to look at what a flyoplane is. Yeah, 2 hours away. That's that would be something. Oh, it's one of these. Okay, yeah. I remembered it. Okay. Yeah, okay. I kind of remember what this is now. Yeah, these do look insane. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I guess I did look at it on a map. I guess if you ever were to do Wonderland, I guess you could probably just at that point drive the extra hours and get there and lump it in as a trip, as in Wonderland, Texas. But yeah, I don't know that I'm ever getting out there to that place. That is definitely far off the beaten path, so I'm not sure about that one. Gold Striker was awesome. I hadn't ridden it since 2019, which was like one of the last years before Gold Striker got its refurbishment. Yes, it definitely is shaky, but it's not to a point that it's like an issue on Gold Striker at this point. And it's just, it was running so relentlessly, so fast paced, so intense, so incredible. I mean, I definitely, it went back up several spots. It definitely was back to form, I would say. It was really good on my visit. So, yeah, it definitely made up for those 2019 rides I got where it definitely disappointed. It was a lot better. So, yeah, it did go up a lot. So I will say that. Let's see. Has a lot of vintage rides as well in good condition. 1909 Irely Ferris wheel as well. Yeah, I remember it. It seemed pretty cool. It's just like I said, very far off the beaten path. And just because for me personally, I'm not as huge into flat rides and going out of my way for them, it's a little bit of a harder sell when I have a lot of places I would like to go to. But you never know. Let's see. Better airtime than you thought and had moderate laterals in some sections. Yeah, no, Gold Striker, it was awesome. So, and the airtime was quite powerful. So, we got, and actually that one we also got lucky. So our trip, we got insanely lucky with the assigned seating. Because I think every ride we got on it, I think we had 5 rides on Gold Striker. 2 were in the front, and then the other 3 were in the back. They were doing assigned seating, but they did let us. We lucked out, or they did let us go into the row we requested. So, um, yeah, that was definitely nice. Same thing with Railblazer. We always got back 2 rows. And we got 5 rides on that as well. And then Joker, we got back row on the 2 rides we got on. But that one was, they didn't even have anyone assigning seats. So, and then Giant Dipper for the most part, we got. We couldn't quite get a front row ride, which I was wanting to do. But we got back car for all but one ride, and then the one ride we didn't. We got second to back car, so. Yeah, pretty good luck there. Let's see. Do I plan any Texas trips? I did go to over Texas on a whim last year, coming back from the Hollywood Nights trip. So, I mean, I did that. Another thing, I don't, not probably not anytime like, I'm not thinking of doing that like at any point like this year. I would love to do San Antonio. Obviously, do Six Flags Fiesta Texas, SeaWorld San Antonio, and then maybe ZDTs if we can make it work because it is a little bit of a ways out there to get to, even though it is like kind of in San Antonio. But that would be a cool one to do. So. And then I would still like to eventually go back to Over Texas and then also get Prairie Screamer. So, and then, I mean, at some point also, Boardwalk Bullet looks awesome. Kodo Land's eventually going to open. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do in Texas, and I would like to do that eventually. But that is something we'll be looking at for the future. Welcome to the chat Beyond the Thrills. How's the internship at the water park going? Very well. We're actually opening for the season this Saturday, so just in 2 days. So I've been working on various things, social media posts. I've been working on like the digital menus and stuff. So learning how to fly a drone and get some shots that way. So it's been really, really cool. Just learning a lot of new skills and playing with a lot of new things. So It's been very enjoyable up to this point, for sure. So appreciate you asking about that. Hopes. I mean, at this point, pretty much, the internship was like for college. My hours are going to ramp up during the summer. My college major requires that we at least do one internship for credits, and so I actually got that out of the way pretty early, which is good. But yeah, I am going to be getting in more hours this summer, which is very good, in terms of just making money and also doing some, hopefully, a trip at some point as well. Coaster opening in 2024 that I am most excited about. Yeah, okay. I used to be on Team Hyperia. I know Top Thrill 2 got its hype before it's gonna be closed for a while, it sounds like. Hopefully not for this entire season, but may end up being possible. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, obviously that was getting some hype. But Voltron, I've seen the POVs and I've seen the reactions. I think Voltron would have to be it. It just looks so awesome. I've been spoiled on the surprises, but it just looks so sick. So it looks so unique. High level of theming. Looks like it has a ton of great elements. Super long ride. Looks like one of the best mock rides coasters to date. So I would have to go with Voltron. I would think at this point, but we'll see. Hyperia is officially opening tomorrow. It'll be cool to see what the reviews are, and see if that lives up to the hype. I still think that Hyperia has some absolutely insane looking elements, and it'll be an awesome ride in and of itself. But I think Voltron, it definitely, you can kind of tell it looks like a very special ride. So I would have to go with that there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm in college. Technically, like, I did community college for 2 years, just getting general education done. And then I just transferred to Fresno State in the fall. So last fall semester was my first one, so that I just completed my second semester there. And those were my first 2 semesters in my major, which is advertising and public relations. So, yeah, that is. I know some people think I'm like still, or for a while people thought like I was still in high school when I was going to community college, and then, like other things. So, yeah, that is where I am at. What is my favorite element on any coaster at Kings Island? I just went there and the Beast at Night was your 100th credit. Well, congratulations on just reaching 100 credits. Hope you enjoyed the Beast at Night. When it comes to element, I would not pick Beast simply because I think that's like more of an overall experience. It is a really good question. As far as element goes. That is like really tough. Mystic Timbers has like a lot of really good airtime hills, but a lot of them at a certain point kind of blend together, but they're really good. I think, I mean, man, this feels like such a cop out answer. But Giga drops really are something else, and I love the first drop in Orion. I think I'm gonna have to go with that, which is kind of crazy because it's my number 3 overall ride there. Number 2 if you are doing Beast Steering Day, but you could Helix Finale on Beast. You could argue you could definitely argue that for sure. And at night, honestly, I think that definitely, you know what, at night I think that would probably be my favorite. But just in general, I'd probably go with Orion's first drop. So yeah, I mean, yes. It's just kind of weird because it's like it definitely adds way more to it at night. It's still good during the day, don't get me wrong, but I think just favorite element, just any time of day and whatnot, that Orion first drop is gonna deliver. So what I'd pick it in general. But yes, the double helix finale and beast at night, that would probably be my pick otherwise. So pretty good choices to choose from. What do I think of Ninja overall at Six Flags Magic Mountain? Yeah, it's a fun ride. It's my favorite of 2 Aero Suspendeds I've done because I missed out on Bat because I was at Kings Island, I think, a few weeks after it derailed, so it was still being repaired. Um, but yeah, that's it's a really fun ride. Pretty intense as far as family coasters go. Really good terrain usage. Really nice swinging at points. It's a really fun ride. And one that I hope is around for a while. It's just that ride model in general. It's just not one you see, and I think it makes very good use of its gimmick. So yeah. U.S. coaster I haven't been on yet that I'm most excited to ride. At this point, you can probably throw it up between Air Force One and Iron Gwazi. I'm actually probably going to pick Air Force One, simply because I think it is like Iron Gwazi has a lot of similarities to Zadra. Now, am I writing Zadra that soon? Probably not. But I mean, there is something else out there that is, I would say relatively similar, or has a lot of similarities anyways, even if they're both like, pretty different. But Air Force One, I think, is just a very unique layout as RMCs go. It has a lot of elements that I'm very intrigued to experience. That finale, I mean, I've done the Lightning Run finale, and it was designed by Joe Draves, so... and the Lightning Run finale is insane, and I've heard the Air Force One finale is absolutely incredible, so... definitely would be looking forward to that, but it does have the Raven dive that we've seen on like the RMC Raptors, or an element pretty similar to it. I'm very curious how that rides on an RMC iBox, just because I really like that element on the I like that element on the Raptors, so that is also one that I'm like really curious how that rides. I have done Maverick before, so I can't pick that. But it is a very good ride. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Air Force One. I mean, you can say the same with Iron Gwazi, but also the pacing on Air Force One looks just absurd. So I think that would have to be my pick there. But can't go wrong with either of them. I think both of those I will ride in the near future. Hey, Theme Park Horizons is in the chat. Cool that you got to go to Dollywood. Big Bear Mountain is awesome. I think that ride looks really good. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being like sneaky top 3 for me there whenever I ride it. I just think it has a lot of qualities I'd really like. Lightning Rod's pothole after a wave turn is worse than ever. Somehow that does not surprise me, but like it, I mean, I haven't ridden it that recently, but I think the roughness was a little overstated when I rode it, but we'll see. Fire Chaser still has airtime. Yep, that's good. Mystery Mine you don't like anymore, but you love this park more. Well, that's good that you're enjoying it overall. Did you last ride Mystery Mine before they did the element change or afterwards? I'd be curious, but yeah. Your top 3 is Lightning Rod, Big Bear, and now Fire Chaser. That's an interesting top 3. I am lower on Thunderhead as well, I guess, so I can agree there, but interesting. I say that I have a weird top 3 for that park. I have Lightning Rod 1, Tennessee Tornado 2, and then Mystery Mine 3. So Big Bear Mountain I did not ride, so for whatever that's worth. My favorite family coaster, Space Mountain at Disneyland. I'm still going to go with that. It is not quite a top 30 coaster for me anymore, but I think it's still like top 35 overall. Just absolutely wonderful ride. Amazing soundtrack, great atmosphere, amazing sense of speed. I know you're not actually going that fast, but it just really feels like it. Um, it has some pretty powerful turns for the kind of ride it is, and a few sneaky pops of airtime. It's just a whole lot of fun. Even though the lines don't usually allow for it, very rewritable as well. So it's just a really fun time. Let's see. I do love Tennessee Tornado. Um, if you keep getting more rides on Thunderhead, Loki might get up to your top 3. So I believe you, and you believe you rode Mystery Mine for the time. Oh, right after redo. Okay, so it's not like that changed. Okay, interesting. It is not the smoothest coaster, admittedly. So that definitely, I can kind of see how upon more and more rides how it could go down. You have the Smoky Mountain Alpine Coaster as your number 2 in Tennessee. Well, I have not ridden it. I have not even ridden a mountain coaster, so even though I saw a bunch of them when I was down there, it's just they're quite a bit of money. Um, so it'll probably be something I eventually do, and I might as well make it a supposedly like really good one whenever I do it. But and I probably would count those as like actual credits probably. They're just very interesting looking attractions overall. After riding Gold Striker, I'm looking forward to when you get to ride Thunderhead. Yeah, there is some similarities. I mean, I did write it before it was fully retracked, but I think by the time I wrote it, there were some people saying it was better than Lightning Rod, and it had gotten part of the retracking done. I didn't really see it. I still thought it was a fun ride, but I did not really see the hype. Maybe it is just running that much better now. And then also, I think my last ride I got on it was like kind of like at around round 1, so it probably could have warmed up more. I wanted to get a night ride on it, but Lightning Rod was a bit too addicting, so I kind of passed on that. But um, yeah. Boo Blasters at Carowinds is elite. All right, if I go to Carowinds, then I will do Boo Blasters. Genuinely not joking. That is hilarious. But hey, that's really cool. I mean, I wasn't even aware they redid it, but that's really good that they're taking care of Boo Blasters because I did the one at KI, which supposedly was like in better condition than some of the other ones, and yeah, that was pretty brutal. Um, when I went, you got a lights on ride on the Boo Blasters at Kings Island. That's interesting. Sense of speed was better than you thought, and it was a super long ride. Yeah, I definitely can give it that. It is certainly a longer ride for sure. El Toro is overrated. I've definitely seen that becoming. There's a lot more people have become a little more jaded towards El Toro. I don't know if it's something to do with how it's been running recently or what it is, but that's one I'm really interested to see what I will think of it when I ride it. Just because I can kind of, it definitely seems like it's only like really a few standout moments that really hit, but I'm still very curious in terms of how much I'll like it. Oh, it's part of one of the. Oh, you went to the Ace Spring Conference. Nice. Okay, that's cool. That's neat that they did that. So that's definitely a unique experience. But yeah, alrighty. So that Q&A session lasted for a while. So I think we can move on to our next thing, which is Guess the Coaster. And then after this, we'll just do one final Q&A after that. So we'll do Guess the Coaster. We're going to do 8 rounds. So let me bring up a coaster. Alrighty. I have my first coaster up. Those of you in the chat can guess away. If you haven't played this game before, you'll pretty easily figure out how to play it. But that is what we are going to be doing. Is it in the US? Yes. So we do have a US coaster. Really narrows it down. And it is steel. It is not Nessie. Eventually. One of these days it will be. But it is a US steel coaster. Also, once again, really narrows it down so much. It does have inversions. So, US steel coaster with inversions, and it is not over 200 feet. But it is a sit-down coaster. So, we have a US steel sit-down coaster with inversions that is under 200 feet. It is not Air Grover. You're not feeling well, and you're on your iPad, so it might be significantly slower than normal. Hope you get better charged on PC. Hate to hear that. But like I said, hope you get better. It is not the Demon. It is not from Intamin, and it is not B&M, and it is not a Vekoma. So none of those. So let's see what else comes in. Once again, US Steel Coaster has inversions, is a sit down, but it is under 200 feet tall. It does not have a launch, so this is not a launch coaster. It is not Shockwave. Dang, not really narrowing this down all too much, are we? At least up to this point. Gotta grab the other water. Does it have two rails? Yes, it does. It is not a single rail coaster. It is not green in any way. So, no, it is not green. Alrighty, so keep asking questions. But yes, it is from Gerstlauer. So once again, let's go through it. This is a US Steel Coaster sit down with inversions under 200 feet from Gerstlauer. So, and it is not an Arrow. So, like I said, we have a Gerstlauer coaster here. See ya, Dad. Hope you're having a good time. Thanks for joining the stream at whatever time it is over in Malaysia. Probably in the morning at this point. Let's see. Infinity Coaster? No. It is blue. Yes. So we do have a blue sit-down inverting Gerstlauer coaster. It is not Hang Time. It is not Monster. So, keep guessing. Oh, 808 Coaster Life got it. It is Iron Shark at Galveston Pleasure Pier in Texas. So that is the correct answer. So Jace is on the board. Let me put that in. And we'll move on to our next one. So let me get the next one. Already, I do have my next coaster, so guess away. And then we'll see how long this one takes. That's all I'll say on that. It is this coaster is, oh boy, that first question is already interesting. So this coaster was not an RMC when it operated, but it has since been RMC'd. That kind of threw everything into a loop already. And it is in the US. So US coaster that has since been RMC'd. It is not El Toro. It is not Fire in the Hole. And Charged on PC got it. It is Wildcat at Hershey Park. There you go. Yep, there it was. Wow, that... I figured it would be quick. I did not think it'd be that quick. So, especially because I thought, oh, maybe because it's defunct, it would take a while. But There you go. Alrighty, so let's get the next coaster. There's no way. I'm not going to do this, but I got the Wild Mouse at Taunus Wonderland, the subject of the first random RCDB short. So shout out there. Not doing that to you all, though, because that's like impossible. Alrighty. I do have my next coaster, so guess away. It is not in Pennsylvania. not this time, not again. It is not in the US. It is not Big Boom. So far we have a coaster that is not in the US. And I mean, obviously it's not Big Boom. But it is in Japan. So yes, we do have a coaster in Japan. It is not a CCI. It's not in North America, not in Europe. So we have a roller coaster in Japan. That is not Big Boom. Alrighty. It is not an RMC, so you can rule out Hokuge. It is steel. It is not from a European manufacturer. So we have a steel coaster in Japan that is not from a European manufacturer. It is not Steel Dragon 2000. It is a Togo, so we do have a Togo coaster in Japan. It is, well, we said it was Togo, so it is not a North American manufacturer. It is not Bandit. Nope, not Fujiyama. Alright, so 808 Coaster Life, I will give you a point. It is Ultra Twister. Now guess the park. There's going to be 2 points. Because obviously there's a lot of Ultra Twisters out there. So yes, Ultra Twister is the correct answer. I will give another point for whoever guesses the park. And well, Jace got that one too. Alrighty, so yep, it is indeed Ultra Twister at Nagashima Spa Land. So that is the correct answer. So Jace now has 3 points on the board. Also not doing this one, but shout out Boomerang Hyper Coaster. This is the relocated Boomerang from Knott's Berry Farm. I just randomly got it. Not doing that one either, though. Alrighty, I do have my next coaster. Guess away. And this is round 4. Okay, yeah. Because now that I did 2 points, that might kind of throw me off. But this is round 4. It is in the US. It is not Heidi the Ride. So we do have a US coaster. Yep, US coaster. It is not Howler. It is not a GCI. It is from a European manufacturer, so we do have a US coaster manufactured by a European manufacturer. So we are at that point already. It is not in Florida, so not a Florida coaster. It is not Kraken. It is at a chain park. It is not Mako. So we have a European manufactured roller coaster in the US at a chain park. It is not Medusa. It is not at a Six Flags park, as in the current Six Flags chain. It is not Diamondback. It is not Nighthawk. It is not Green Lantern. It is not Orion. It is not Dominator. It's not Banshee. It is not from B&M. So, let me go back through. U.S. European manufactured coaster at a chain park. That is not at a Six Flags park and not a B&M. It is not Fury 325. It is not from Intamin, and it is not Maverick. So none of those. It is not Millennium Force. Dang, we're going down the list, I guess. James got it out of absolutely nowhere. It is indeed Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm, which I couldn't believe because I literally... I don't know how that worked. I'm telling you guys, I got this on RCDB. Because I just mentioned before I got Hang Time that I randomly got the boomerang that got relocated from Knott's, which is crazy. But yeah, no, that's actually what it was. One of the weirder coincidences I've ever seen. But yeah, that's actually what happened. So yeah, good job, James, for getting that one. Alrighty, I do have my next coaster. So guess away. That RCDB coincidence, like, insane. To get the boomerang that Hang Time replaced just before, and then Hang Time is crazy. It is in North America, it is in the US, it is not Choco Chip Creek. So far we have US coaster. And this is round 5. So let's see, US coaster is what we got at this point. It is not a GCI. It is a steel coaster, so we do have a US steel coaster. It is not X2. So far, we just pretty much have US steel coaster. It is not a B&M. So US steel coaster that is not from B&M. That is also not X2. That leaves a lot out there. It is not Batwing. It is a sit-down coaster. So yes, so we have a US steel sit-down coaster that is not from B&M. It is not at a chain park. So no. Not at a chain park. It is not Iron Rattler. So US steel sit-down coaster that is not at a chain park. It does have inversions. It is not at Hershey Park. So we have US steel sit-down coaster, not at a chain park that does have inversions. It is not Fahrenheit. Alrighty. Let's see what else comes in. It is not from Intamin. It is not Wicked. It's not from B&M. It is not Texas Tornado. And it is not from Gerstlauer. So, not a Gerstlauer coaster. And none of the manufacturers that we just listed. So... it's not Impulse. It is from Vekoma. So yes, we do have a Vekoma sit-down coaster in the US with inversions. That is not at a chain park. So, guess away. And it is indeed a Vekoma Boomerang. It is not Great Nor'easter. It is Sea Serpent. Yep, that is the correct answer. Charged on PC, got it. So that is a second point as we head into round 6. Alrighty, well, man, I'm getting these quick. Okay, I have the next coaster. Guess away. Very good luck with RCDB because the coasters are actually coming up pretty quick. So, let's see. It is not in North America. So, I think, what, have we only had one non-North America coaster up to this point? So here's another one. So, not in North America. That's pretty much all we got at this point. It is not a B&M, and it is not in Europe. So, yeah, not really a whole lot to go off of. Just things that you know it isn't. So, let's see what else comes in. It is not from GCI either. So, not a GCI. So far it is not wooden. So, basically to recap, it's not in North America, it's not in Europe, it's not a B&M, it's not a GCI, and it is not wooden. So we do have it is a steel coaster. It is not DC Rivals. So, this is a steel coaster in Asia, yes. So we do have a steel coaster in Asia, which really does not narrow it down much, but yep. So steel coaster in Asia. And then let's see what else we get. It is not Raging Spirits. Love seeing there's been a lot more like just kind of throw it out there guesses. I mean, Hang Time was pretty like just a random guess, so that was so you never know. It is not in Japan, it is not in China, and it is not Steel Dragon 2000. So yeah, Asia Steel Coaster. That is not in Japan or China. It is not Wrath of Zeus. It is not in Vietnam. So, it is in the United Arab Emirates or the UAE. So, that is correct. So, we do have a steel coaster in the UAE. It is not Dragon's Run. It is not Formula Rosa. It is not Flying Aces. It is not Manta. It's not Fiorano GT Challenge. It is not Storm. It is not Mission Ferrari. That would be pretty funny, but unfortunately it's not. So once again, Steel Coaster and UAE, that's basically all we got. And it's not any of the ones that have been mentioned. It is not Capital Bullet Train. It is not Velociraptor. I feel like this is one that you may want more hints for. I will just say that much. I think trying to just outright guess it might be a challenge. I will just say that. Turbo Track, Tom and Jerry's Swiss Cheese Spin. No. Also, for if anyone hasn't done these that much, make sure just don't go on RCB or use internet. It is not at Ferrari World. It is not at Motion Gate Dubai. It is not Madagascar Mad Pursuit. It is from a European manufacturer. So yes. So once again, we have a steel coaster in the UAE from a European manufacturer. Alright, let's see what else comes in. It is not Spider-Man. I know you're referring to the spinner. It is not from Intamin. Yeah, I can see why this one is taking a little bit. I will say that much. I can definitely see why. It is not from Gerstlauer either. So, once again, UAE steel coaster from a European manufacturer. Not a Ferrari World, not a Motion Gate Dubai. Yes, it is a Vekoma coaster. So we do have a Vekoma coaster in the UAE. And not at the parks that we've previously listed. So probably someone will probably get it relatively soon, potentially, but we'll see. And Infinite Coasters got it. It is Bandit Bomber at Yas Waterworld. This is the Vekoma Splash Party coaster. So that is the correct answer there. So that'll be a point. Definitely one of the trickier ones we've gotten up to this point. But I feel like it's probably most of you have seen it or know it. So that is that one. And we are going to go into round 7, second to last round. And let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Guess away. It is not in the US. You've heard of it? Yeah, it just doesn't come to mind. Especially like you think of the Abu Dhabi parks. You don't really think of Bandit Bomber and the Yas Water World. So definitely makes sense. It was pretty tricky, I think, for that reason. But this coaster that we're guessing now was not in the US. It is in Japan. Yep. We do have a coaster in Japan. That is pretty much all we're at. It is a steel coaster. It is not Steel Dragon 2000. It is not from Togo. So we have a steel coaster from Japan. That is not a Togo. Let's see what else comes in. It is not Acrobat. Funny that those two just came in at the same time, but it is not Acrobat. So once again, Steel Coaster in Japan, that's all we have. Not a Togo, not a B&M. So neither of those. It is not from Mach. So we have yet to identify a manufacturer. It is not from Intamin, and it is not a European manufacturer. No, not a European manufacturer, but it is an Asian manufacturer. Yes. So we have a Steel Coaster in Japan from an Asian manufacturer that is not Togo. So you'll have to figure that one out. So, like I said, Japan Steel Coaster and Charged on PC got it. It is Big Boom. Another bizarre coincidence is that was guessed earlier out of random, and well, we got it. I was clicking through it quickly and I saw it, so I had to put it back in. I'm like, oh shoot, we actually got it. But yep, it is indeed Big Boom. So this is our last round. Wow, already got the coaster again. And Charged on PC and 808 Coaster Life are both tied. So that is also worth mentioning. But with that being said, I do have the next coaster, so guess away. It is not in North America. So another international coaster. I guess they picked up toward the end. It is a steel coaster. It is not in Asia this time. So we do have a steel coaster that is not in North America or Asia. Let's see. It is in Europe. So we do have a steel coaster in Europe. It is indeed from a European manufacturer. It is not Red Force. So we have a steel coaster in Europe from a European manufacturer that is not Red Force. It is not from B&M. It is not from Vekoma. It is not from Mach Rides. It is, yes, it is an Intamin. So, Intamin coaster in Europe is, and steel. I guess that is worth noting here. It is not a Mauer, not a Gerstlauer. It is not Tornado at Sarkaniemi. It is not Puritan. It's not Mega Coaster. You know what? I think, okay, so I'm actually going to give Infinite Coasters a point here because he got the name of the coaster right, or they got the name of the coaster right. But which park? Because it is not Sarkaniemi, but Infinite Coasters, I will give you the coaster is Tornado, but which park? I'll give another point to whoever gets that. It is not Sarkaniemi. I was questioning. I just decided to give the point at that point. So it's not Puritan. It is not a Mega Coaster. It's not in the UK. It's not an LSM launch. It's not Gotham City Escape. It's not Taiga. It's not Conda. It's not a Mega Light. Yep. It is Parque de Attracciones. Spelling is not necessary here. which Charged on PC got. So that makes Charged on PC, that was our final round. So Charged on PC is the winner of Guess the Coaster. So congratulations. So there you go. Yes, Jace had a very short-lived celebration. You'll see what that's all about in the next probably few weeks, hopefully. Very short-lived celebration. It's so funny. Y'all will get it in a bit. Alrighty, we'll move on to our final Q&A and final buy or sell. Yeah, that'll pretty much wrap it up. Probably will be fielding questions over the next, we'll say 15 minutes, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, so any questions about anything, whether it's the trips, recent news, and then also any buy or sells that you have, there you go. Of course, you picked the incorrect one of the two intimate inverts named Tornado. I still was gonna, I've had a kind of a weird thing in terms of like if I haven't known how to handle if someone guesses the name of a coaster, but it's like they say the park or it's like the wrong one. So I think I'm just gonna do what I've done today, where it's like you guess the coast, like the name. If it's one that's like there's multiple of them, then that's a point, and then the park it's at is another. So I think that'll make stuff like Batman the Ride clones, if we get it, like a little more interesting, rather than like we literally or like Goliaths, for example, rather than like just not doing them entirely. It's now just like a double point chance, I think, is a good way to handle that. So that's something I did it this stream, and I think I did it in one of the last ones. So if you all like that for Guess the Coaster, then let me know. I don't know if that'll be like super popular in terms of just handling it that way. But I think that's fair. And then it's like 1 point, because like half points and stuff, it just kind of gets kind of janky at that point. So anyways, like I said, any final questions, any last buy or sells you have, let me know. And that'll pretty much wrap the stream up in a little bit here. Thank you all for checking out the stream. I know I was worried because I don't usually do it on Thursday nights. But that's kind of what I had to work with, so I appreciate you all showing up here for the return of Coaster Time after like a close to 2-month hiatus, just due to college work mostly, which is now done for a while, so that's nice. Let's see, you did the Beast walk back before you actually rode the Beast. Yeah, that would probably be an unusual thing, but that's really cool that you did that. That's pretty awesome. That you were able to do the walk back in general. But yeah, I can't imagine there's probably too many people who can say that, so that's pretty cool. Hello, Civilian Satellite. Vince, happy to see you in the stream. I think this is a bot, so let's kick them out real quick. I just saw a bot show up. Let's see. That should about fix it. Alrighty. Bot has been defeated. Sometimes we will have that happen. Let's see. But, yeah, good to see you in here, Vince. Hope things are going well for you. And then, let's see, anything else? And we had, like, a lot of questions earlier, so. And usually I only do, like, 2 Q&A sessions, but just because I didn't have as much planned, for this one, just because it was like coming straight off the trip, coming straight off the semester and everything. Just wanted to ease into going back into the streams. But I guess I can mention, I am planning to do some more streams here in the future, hoping to bring on some more guests or some people I've been talking with. And then also we'll see when exactly it happens, but there's a cool idea I have in the fold for whenever the Six Flags merger officially happens. I think it's going to happen in like the next, probably just, we'll say within the summer. But I actually have something planned for that. Won't go into it too much, but there's that also going on. And hoping to also get more into doing like some of the short form videos again. It just, things kind of had to like come to a screeching halt when I was busy with like a lot of different things. Most recently ridden coaster. That would belong to Gold Striker. That was our last ride of the day at California's Great Americas. So that would be my most recently ridden coaster. And if you want my most recent new credit, that would be Pacific Fruit Express at Happy Hollow Park and Zoo, which I did last week. What other wooden coasters do you think will get pre-cut tracker? I think would probably a better question is would benefit. Hopefully Hades 360 gets some. Although I think they've been doing some work on it. The problem is it's like it's sometimes like they kind of release like a list of like coasters and it's like, oh, I didn't know they got some pre-cut track. The thing is it's kind of tricky because it's like which ones have not gotten it. But kind of just probably going through. I'm trying to think if anything I've ridden that'd be super obvious because I know the Holiday World Woodies have gotten treatment, so those ones are off the books in terms of choosing that. So trying to think what rides would actually make sense. And ones that I've done. I mean, I guess a bit of a wild card, but although I think they've already been like doing work on it. But Stampede would probably benefit, but it could probably also use new trains, so that'd be nice. That'd be one I'd be like happy if they did it. Racer 75, I think they are planning to do that at some point. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that was something. But yeah, I mean, especially considering they've done Racer at Kings Island, and that's helped out a whole lot. That would definitely be nice. So that definitely would be a good pick. Most CCI coasters, that's probably realistic. Or like a realistically good option. But those would probably be good picks. Yeah, Hades 360 is kind of the like most obvious one. I think that's why I brought that one up first. So, yeah, I think I'm just gonna stick with that one for like the main answer, and then like a bunch like CCI Woodies in general. Yeah, you could definitely go down the list on that front as well. For sure. Alrighty, and I mean, Stampede would be along that list. So there you go. Saw that the construction on Dodo Dump has started. Yep, it's being taken down. It was only a matter of time. So there you go. Never been to Kings Dominion, so I cannot say. I'd probably prefer Kings Island, though. Kings Island is a top 5 park for me. My current favorite Cedar Fair park of the ones I've been to. I think it's just excellent overall. Great coaster collection. Amazing operations. I love the blue ice cream. Really nice looking park. Good vibes. Did not have the best food there, but I pretty much have heard I just made a bad choice there, so I will be giving that another shot. Kings Island doesn't have Project 305. I mean, King's Dominion, the top two is pretty hard to beat from the sounds of it. Um, so it might have that edge, but the overall depth is not as good. So I would say that. Just, I mean, well, predictively, I guess. Boulder Dash just got, yeah, they got more Titan track plus new sections of um, the GCI track, the wood they're using. Uh, Jace was just talking about that. I forget what the exact wood's called, but yes, the one that they used on there. Um, I would like for it to. I understand that there's some sections where it's like, yes, they want to. They it's just easier to have it Titan track, but I'm hoping that for the most part they just go along the route of putting in the stronger wood track. So I would love to see that. That'd be very good to see. Um, let's see what else. What I get, let's see. So I had a Panda Express, which, for one, Panda Express in the Midwest is a lot worse in my experience than it is around here in California. So kind of a bad choice there. That being said, it was somehow better than the standalone place I went to in Indiana. So, and then I got some tacos from, I'm not even sure. I think this may have been the place that got replaced by I think it was the Mercado they just brought in. But I got some tacos for whatever reason. And yeah, they were not great. I guess I was just like, I hadn't had, yeah, it was um, not great. So, granted, I'm probably, I mean, I'm spoiled, but definitely seems like there were like some, there were a lot better options that, and I just not, choose those for whatever reason. So that is my bad there. Um, that's one I probably should have looked into more in terms of like what were restaurants that people actually like there. I've tried to do that more and more with my more recent visits to new parks. Um, let's see. Kings Island is better overall, but you think that Kings Dominion has better coasters? All right, fair. Kings Dominion seems to get a lot less crowds. Yeah, I can definitely imagine that Kings Island is quite busy. Um, the one time I went to Kings Island because we were just gonna be there for a day, and the only day that was available was like was the day before the 4th, I believe. We just bit the bullet and got fast lane just to make the most of our day. So um, I will say it on that front. That definitely would have affected my experience there. Um, you got Grain and Grill, alrighty. And some included food with the Ace event. Yep, well, there you go. Kings Dominion has a lot of walk-ons often. Yeah. Buy or sell Evermore will be flattened by the end of next year. I will buy it. I mean, I should not be laughing. I mean, that definitely. I mean, it was a park that I had never even heard of until your video on it. Which this was a LARPing park basically that you can check Vince's video on it. Very unique theme park. Nothing else really like it. It did not last very long, and they probably should not have attempted to sue Taylor Swift for using Evermore as an album name. That was incredibly dumb. And then it turned out they used her music, so she without her permission, so they countered sued. That was just goofy. But very interesting regardless. But yeah, I think it's flattened. Yeah. World's best coaster lineup. So I am of the opinion I do have Magic Mountain over Cedar Point. Although that part of that was when Dragster closed, and now Cedar Point has Top Thrill too. Um, but I don't know for sure. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy Top Thrill 2 as much as I like Dragster. I just that launch, Dragster is my number two at the park. But Top Thrill 2 still looks quite good. Just hopefully it can get past its early issues. Um, so we'll see there. But I think I'd have to go with Magic Mountain right now, which is crazy just because it's like, it's my home park. So I guess I'm biased in that sense. But uh, even still, I would take Magic Mountain probably. I don't really. Your favorite coaster lineup might be Great Adventures. That's fair. That could definitely compete as well, just depending on how good their higher end coasters are. Um, for sure, they definitely do have a really good collection as well. So that definitely, I could definitely understand that one for sure. And then King Ka is your number three overall. Yeah, that would be fair. I'm very excited whenever I get to go out to a Great Adventure. Not something I'm planning anytime soon, but uh, I would love to check out King Ka. So number three out of 101. Yeah, it looks awesome. So definitely can understand that. It'd probably be right around. I would guess, unless for some reason like the shakiness got to me or the restraints really bothered me, but I highly doubt it. It's probably going to be like very close with Dragster, I would imagine. Strong case for Hershey Park 2. I was about to bring that up. I love Sky Rush, and I really enjoy Storm Runner and Fahrenheit. I have never even ridden Candemonium or Wildcat's Revenge because last time I went was like in 2017. So yeah, they definitely do have an argument for sure. Um, Kaz also Rising Thrills number three. Nice. That's a interesting coincidence. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Need to go back to Hershey Park. You're missing most of the best coasters. Yeah. Another park I would love to revisit. You could do Great Adventure as well, but that, like, Eastern PA plus Great Adventure would be a really nice trip because I have not been to Knobles yet, um, and not Dorney Park yet. I would love to go to those two parks. I'd love to revisit Hershey. I'd love to go to Great Adventure. If I really wanted to, maybe lump in like Sesame Place and like Dutch Wonderland, but those aren't absolutely necessary, but would be cool to do. That definitely would make for a very good trip. So, um, I would love. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but that'd be a really fun trip to do. You've ridden Candemonium. That is good. Might go to Great Adventure this summer. That'll be fun, as well as Kennywood. Yep. That would be good choices there. Obviously, Steel Curtain's gonna be down, but I mean, I at this point, with how often it's down, if I were like in the area or I was already planning a trip, I really wouldn't cancel it or delay it at this point. Steel Curtain is just it's been a headache, unfortunately, for the park in terms of keeping it open. Hopefully, the fix that they're doing actually like fixes it, but at this point, I don't think you can really count on it. So that should be fun. Phantom's Revenge will be awesome, and Skyrocket, their Woody collection, just the history of that park as well, and their other unique rides. Definitely seems like a fun park for sure. Dutch Wonderland is a cute park. Yeah, the price is a little much, just kind of having looked at it, but I'm like, might be worth doing at some point. And Oscar's Wacky Taxi is awesome, and same thing kind of with Sesame Place, but only go if you have a SeaWorld season pass. Hey, that's a good point. That is a good point. I don't really have a reason to have one right now, unfortunately. But we'll see if that changes at some point in the near future. But I mean, yeah, it would definitely be a good thing to do if I had that. Lightning Rod is your number one, so Phantoms seems really good. Yep, they have similarities. Yeah, terrain usage wise, both incredible coasters in that sense. For sure. They definitely both really have that. So I can definitely see it. Alrighty, so I think max I'll go to is 30 in terms of for me it's 725, so I'll go to 730. That'll be my like limit, but yeah, speed and then also the airtime pops at the end. Yeah, those look so good on Phantoms without inversions. Yep. Phantom's Revenge is another really high bucket list coaster. A Wildcat's Revenge 1 and Skyrush 2. There you go. Wildcat's Revenge is another really interesting coaster because I'm not going to lie, when it got announced, looking at its layout, I wasn't like that intrigued, but the reviews have been really good. I will say that one like double down element where it does look like it does give some pretty strong laterals is extremely intriguing. So I that was one element that like watching the like live POVs or like the live action POVs, the real POVs, I guess, better way to say it. When it first came out, I was like, okay, that looks pretty interesting. So that definitely is another ride that I'm like very curious to check out. Yeah, that's the real, because I love Superman Ultimo Scape, so I'm kind of like, will Phantom beat it for me? I'm not sure. But even if it doesn't, it's going to be an awesome ride, so can't go wrong with it. Don't even think it would make your top 10. It's easily top 5. The pacing doesn't look insane off-ride, but on-ride you're flying. Yeah, it's definitely one of those rides where like you kind of, I mean, I've looked at it, and a lot of other people are on the same boat, and they're like, I mean, it looks good, but it doesn't look like that insane. But I mean, I've just heard that like a lot of people who went in with like kind of lower expectations or just didn't really believe in the hype ended up coming off of it, having it ranked very highly, or at least like just really, really thinking it was an excellent ride. So it's interesting in that sense, in terms of how that kind of happened, for sure. So that, like I said, very interesting. And charged on PC, your number one is Lightning Rod and I-305 at 2. Yep, I-305, another one of those. Yeah, Beast it's pretty aggressive, for sure. I mean, you mentioned it, that double helix finale, but even in general, that definitely impressed in that sense, I would say. So, and like, especially like I said, or like I've said with like day ride, it's like pretty good, but at night it feels definitely more unhinged and kind of crazy. So I would definitely agree there. Let's see, it's 28, so probably like another minute. Alrighty, so I think we are at 29, so I think this is a good point for me to wrap up, so I think I will. So, yeah, I guess I will wrap up the stream here. Once again, to all of you for watching, who have been watching, whether you came in a little later or have been here the whole time, very much appreciate you checking out the stream, especially like getting a notification after a long hiatus. So awesome to have you all here, and it was fun to go through the games and catch up on all the questions and all that's been going on with all of you, so that's been great. And with all of that being said, thank you all for watching, And I will see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See you all.